Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the Moving Forward webinar on 5 essentials to achieving your goals. I'm so glad that you're able to make it and join us today. And before we get started, I just want to go over a few house cleaning things. So my name is Steven. I'm with the Change Element, and I'm joined here by two of my partners, Tim and Corey. And again, thank you so much for joining in on this webinar. It's great to see all of you that are here. We're going to cover a lot of great things today. Now, to interact with the webinar, if at any time your screen freezes or anything like that, just go ahead and hit the refresh button and click play again, and you'll pick off right where you left off. For those of you who are in on this webinar and you have a Google account, that enables you to be able to chat with us. So if you head to the top of your screen, there should be a little cube icon. If you click on it, you'll see a blue Q&A icon. When you click on that, that enables you to be able to send comments as we ask for different questions. And so at this point, it's great to see a few of you on here. I'd like to ask you guys, just quickly use that and tell us where you're coming from. If you're watching from the US somewhere, or Europe or Canada or abroad, just let us know where you're watching from so we can see where you're coming from. And there's also another app. If you also click on that cube icon, you'll see another icon. It's yellow, and that's a showcase icon. And if at any point we share different links throughout the webinar, you can go ahead and click on that icon, and you'll see the different links that we share to different websites that might be helpful or useful. And also, if you have trouble working around the webinar and you're having technical difficulties, go ahead and feel free to ask us a question in that Q&A section, and we'll be able to try to answer them as quickly as we're able to. And so now I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to my friend Tim.
Hey, thanks, Steven. Hey, so I too want to welcome everyone to this webinar called Moving Forward, the 5 Essentials to Achieving Your Goals. We're really excited that you've joined us for what is sure to be a great conversation on how we can achieve goals and really move us forward, move towards becoming who we want to become and achieving what we want to achieve. Now, I want to start by introducing myself for those of you that don't know me. My name is Tim Bartlett, and I'm a coach, a consultant, and co-founder of the Change Element. I have an extensive background in several leadership roles. I've led in small business environments. I've held leadership roles for the government in the Department of Defense. And then I've also held leadership roles in a Fortune 500 company where I ran large retail stores with large teams, and I even developed leadership training and development for other executive leaders. I've been exposed to a lot of different things out there, a lot of different issues, and I know that goal setting and achieving is certainly one of those. I'd come to a point in my life where I just wasn't really moving forward in the direction that I really wanted to go. The career that I had, I had built up to that point, which by any standards looked like a great career, it just wasn't what I wanted to do in life. And my passion and my purpose was really to invest in the lives of others, to really help guide them towards achieving success and significance in their life. And so I knew I needed to make some kind of change. Well, it's in that mission that we created the Change Element. We really want to help individuals and organizations achieve their optimal performance by providing them resources, training, coaching, consulting. It is just a genuine passion of ours to help others, help move them forward in their lives. And so we've created this webinar as one of those tools that we want to offer. There's going to be 2 other webinars that you're going to hear about a little bit later, both free. But we really want to make sure that we're making the information and the tools available for people to really help them move forward in their lives. Now, today we're going to be talking about goals and the 5 essentials to achieving goals. And I know this is something that we've probably heard a lot about, we've talked about, we've thought about, but I think a lot of us have seldom achieved. Achieving goals is absolutely can be a struggle, and probably for some of you, that's why you're here, is because you want to see things move a little bit differently. But what I'll tell you is that there are many reasons why people don't achieve their goals. I know a lot of times when I was personally dealing with this, I was asking myself, are my goals too lofty? Are they too small? Am I creating too many? For me, and maybe you're like me, there's so many things you want to do, and when you're trying to do too many things, you end up actually doing very little. And so all of us here at the Change Element have spent a lot of time and energy really digging into this whole process of creating and achieving goals. And we've applied all that we've learned, both from all our research and experiences, and we've been able to see a tremendous amount of progress in our own lives. I mean, we've been able to launch this business. We've been able to see a lot of progress individually and as a team, and I'm confident that you'll find that these 5 essentials are going to be really helpful solutions to your goal achievement problems. But before we jump into that, I do want to introduce another member and co-founder of the Change Element. You heard him at the beginning giving us some of the house cleaning details, but I want to introduce Stephen Ma. So Stephen, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Tim. So like Tim said, I'm also one of the co-founders of the Change Element. And again, for those of you who are joining in, thank you so much. This is the Moving Forward webinar on 5 essentials to achieving your goals. And if you're just joining us, we'd love to hear where you're from. So if you could go ahead and click at the top icon, you will be able to see a chat button. And when you click on that, you can type in where you're from. So we see that we've got a lot of people from California, which is where I'm from, which is great. Different states in the U.S. Okay, you got some people from New York. Person from Washington. That's awesome. So it's really great to see some of you here. Now, a little bit about myself. I worked in the nonprofit world for a lot of years. I volunteered on a lot of different trips, and then also went on to work for different organizations and helping to tell their branding and story. And so I do a lot of graphic design, marketing, social media. And after I worked in the nonprofit area for several years, I decided I want to take those skills and help a lot of other people, and so I went into freelance and started consulting for various nonprofits, small businesses as well, doing a lot of marketing. And through all that, I realized that a lot of these nonprofits and small businesses as well have a lot of similar goals. You know, they have all these aspirations of obviously making more donations, making more sales, communicating their branding and strategy more, and they'd have a lot of set goals in place, but they had a lot of trouble achieving them. And all this kind of came down to either not having a plan, some of them just had way too many goals, some of them just weren't specific enough, and they just couldn't, you know, really define what it meant to succeed. And so I noticed these common trends across the board, and so that's why I'm so passionate about putting on this webinar through the Change Element, is to really help people, both in organizations and as individuals, be able to know how to create goals that are tangible, that are realistic, but that are also significant, and that you could actually move forward in achieving those. And I hope that we answer a lot of those questions today. So at this time, I also want to pose another question to you. If you you know, struggle with certain aspects of accomplishing your goals, if you just, you know, have tried to achieve goals in the past, whether personally or professionally, and you just haven't been able to make it there, let us know what some of your issues and problems are. What are some of the challenges that you face? Go ahead and click on that cube icon at the top of your screen, click on the chat button, the Q&A button, I'm sorry, the blue one, and type in just what some of the issues and challenges that you face are, and we're going to go ahead and answer those in a few minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and send you off to our third partner, Corey.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it. I just want to say hello. My name is Corey Damon, and you know it's very cool to see everybody that's on here and really the different places that you guys are from. I want to start by saying that it's such a privilege to be with you today, and I know that your time is really a precious resource, and there are so many things that really vie for our time, and so many things that we can invest our time in. So we thank you that you're here with us today, and I promise that we're going to make it valuable for you. For those of you that are hopping on late, this is the webinar Moving Forward, 5 essentials to accomplishing your goals. So you're in the right spot, and again, to reiterate what Stephen said, click that Q&A box and just let us know what's one goal that you've had in your past that you really struggled with or haven't accomplished. Now, I'll go ahead and give you a little bit of my background. I worked as the director of operations for a company for nearly a decade, and this position was great. It was right up my alley. I was able to create processes and really flex the innovative muscles that I had, but it was also a challenge. I was put in difficult spots that I really had to think through it. Had to gather team members around me, come together and really work together to achieve the goals that we had. So it was a great position, and I really enjoyed it. But I was an entrepreneur at heart, and really this goes back for as long as I could remember, just being involved in different areas of my life, trying to raise money here and there. So I really had that entrepreneurial bug. And so while this position was great, I really had the itch to get out and get started on my own. So I started and launched my first business in 2008. And I was able to grow that business year over year, and we were experiencing success. And then earlier this year, I ended up selling that company, and I'll get into a bit of that later. But over the course of the 5 years that I ran this business, man, I got to tell you, I learned so much about running a business on your own, working for yourself, really keeping team members engaged and motivated and on track. It was really an amazing experience, but it was sold. But I wasn't done. I knew that I found something that I was gravitating towards, and I wouldn't stop gravitating towards it. So I started another company late last year, and we continue to develop and grow that business to today. And then this business, the Change Element, this is the third business that I've been a part of, and it's been such a pleasure co-founding the Change Element with these two amazing guys, and you'll get to learn more about them and their stories, and you'll see that they really have so much insight and wisdom in so many areas as well. So that quickly brings us up to today, and really my experience in this entrepreneurial world has really taught me so much. But one of the biggest struggles that I've seen, not only in my experience but in the experience of so many other entrepreneurs that I've come in contact with, is being able to create clear, purposeful goals. And really, this can be disastrous for business. Lack of clarity impedes innovation and really stifles success. And this is really one reason why I'm so excited about this webinar, because we begin to address some of these problems and really help people out. And speaking of that, let me pose another question to you guys, and you can put this into the Q&A box. Let us know what field or industry you're in. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you in the nonprofit world, in the corporate world, or do you work with teams and lead teams? Whatever it may be, just jot that into the Q&A and let us know what field you're in so we get an idea of who's here. Okay, so in just a bit, we're going to talk about an obvious struggle that many of us have. And for those of you on the webinar, I'm almost certain that you struggle in this area just as I do. But what's not so obvious is really the major reasons why we fail to achieve our goals. So we're really going to dig into this problem. We're going to get a good understanding of how we can conquer failure and really achieve our goals. But before we dig into the 5 essentials, I want to let you know that we have something special waiting for you at the end of the webinar. We're going to have a free PDF download that you'll have access to, but we also have another surprise that we're really excited about. So make sure you stick around to the end. You're definitely going to want to get all 5 of these essentials. They're practical, tangible, and you'll be able to implement them into your goal process right away. But then again, at the end, we have an opportunity to really dig into the goals that we create with a step-by-step process. And we're really excited about it, and we think that you're going to get just incredible value from it as well. So stay with us to the end, at which point we're also going to have a time of Q&A. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right to it. And Tim is going to kick us off with the first essential. Tim, take it away.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you very much. So yes, starting off with essential number 1, that first essential is alignment. Now, what I mean by this is that we need to align our goals with who it is we want to become. Really, there are two types, or excuse me, there are two sides to achieving goals. There's the completion of the goals themselves, and then there is this idea of, do those goals really move you forward? And you know, we're talking about goals that really help us move forward in our lives. Many of you, I'm sure, work really hard and are able to achieve many things, both personally and professionally. But the question is, truly, do those achievements really help move you forward? Sorry. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. I have a slide to show you guys. It's not gonna, but now I got it. So again, that question is, do those achievements move you forward in your passion and purpose? There's a lot of different resources out there, a lot of different ways you can find information, and a lot of great sources such as Forbes and the Harvard Review have cited a lot of studies that talk about like the top reasons why people don't achieve their goals. And one of those top reasons that people fail to achieve their goals is that they set the wrong goals. They set the wrong goals. Too often people are setting goals that are based off of comparing themselves to others, or off of some false pretense of things that they just feel like they want to achieve or they need to achieve, things that they think will bring them happiness. But really, it's a false pretense. It's what leads people towards goals that just don't move them forward. Now, creating goals that align with our purpose and our passions, that is that first essential. And this can mean many things to a lot of people. But there are some tangible ways to help you determine on if your goals really do align with your purpose and passion. And as you start to create more goals for yourself in your life, to align those with that passion and purpose. And really, there's three questions that you can ask. And you know, there's a lot more that we're going to get into this later, but this is that first essential. And these are those three tangible ways that you can really determine on if your goals align with your passion or purpose. The first question you ask yourself is, what do you want to do? That second question then is, why do you want to do it? So what do you want to do, and why do you want to do it? And then that third question to ask yourself is, how does it fit with your purpose and passion? So what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And how does it fit with your purpose and your passion? So to give you an example, I have set for myself some goals that include travel. I have some travel goals, my wife and I. And I certainly love to travel. We both do. And there's a lot of fun and adventure and excitement that comes from it. But it's not just because it's fun. See, I believe that traveling really helps me develop as a person. Having done it before, I see how it expands my worldview. It helps me become more aware of different cultures and places and how people think and act, and really helps me, I believe, become a better global citizen. And becoming a better global citizen, a better person, is in line with my passion and purpose. And so these travel goals that I've set for myself are much more than just for fun. There's a connection, there's an alignment to my passion and purpose, and that's that first essential. That's how I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do everything I need to do to work towards those goals. So again, that first essential is alignment. Now for our second essential, I'm going to kick it back to Stephen.
All right, thank you so much for that, Tim. So for those of you who are just joining us in our webinar, this is Moving Forward, 5 Essentials to Achieving Your Goals, where we're going to help you create and achieve goals that are significant. Now, if you're just joining in, what you can do is chat with us by clicking on the cube icon at the top of your screen if you're logged into Google, your Google account, and by selecting the Q&A icon. There you can pop in a few of your questions. And go ahead and, if you're just joining in right now, write down some of the problems or challenges that you have in encountering your goals. And I'm just going to read one right here that says, like, I don't have anyone to help me. Yeah, and that's a huge, huge problem in in helping in achieving your goals, and you kind of feel alone in that. And this is why I'm going to present our second essential. So Tim talked about our first essential, which was alignment. The second essential to achieving your goals is declare. Okay, it's to declare your goals, and that means to write it down and tell a friend. And so let me explain that a little bit. A few years ago, I was traveling in Africa on a volunteer trip, and what I had done was I made a lot of connections with the community there, and I saw a lot of problems in the community in Africa, and I really wanted to do something about it. I wanted to make a difference, and so I committed to myself. I made a goal that said I'm going to start some kind of organization to help these people. But the problem was I never told anyone about it, and so it sat as a dormant dream within me for years, like year after year. I looked at myself and thought, wow, I made this commitment, this goal a couple years ago, but it's 2-3 years now, and I still haven't made any progress on starting this organization that I want to do. And I feel like that's what we do with a lot of our goals, where we have this thing in mind, but we don't write it down or we don't tell anyone about it, and so it stays within us. And I think the reason we do that is because it kind of exempts us from failure, right? Because if no one knows that you have this goal, well, no one can know that you're not working on it and you're not moving forward in it. And so one of the most important things to do is to tell someone about it, and it's life-changing. And this is what happened for me. One year, I finally decided, okay, I'm going to make progress towards this goal of starting a nonprofit organization. So I wrote an email to 15 of my closest friends, and I wrote an email saying, hey, I'm going to start this project. I'm going to start this organization, and I need your help to keep me accountable. I need your help with this. And you know what? That year, I filed my business papers, I went to Africa, and I actually started my organization, Intrinsic, and it's one of the companies I started, all because I'd made that one decision to declare my goal to a small group of friends. And so that's what I encourage you to do, because when you say it out loud, it puts some skin in the game for you. It makes it a little more real. And so when you say it out loud, you put it into reality, and you also get people around you who are able to encourage you and keep you accountable and challenge you. And then you don't feel alone anymore. You're actually working towards your goal with other people who present potential opportunities to help you. So that's essential number 2, is declare your goal. And now I'm going to pass it off to Corey for essential number 3.
All right, great. Thank you, Stephen. And again, in case you guys are just joining us, I'm going to recap. We're going to talk about essential number 3 in just a second. But first, essential number 1 was align, and that's to really align our goals with our purpose. And then essential number 2 was to declare, and really the power that comes along with articulating our goals so that we can get accountability. And now for essential number 3. Essential number 3 is define. See, the problem that many of us have is we create goals that are not clear or specific. And when we are clear and specific, this gives us a target that we can aim for. And I saw that Carla, let me get this question right, Carla asked a question that said, I feel like I failed to accomplish most of the goals I set for myself. Am I doing something wrong, or is there a reason why I can't get out of this pattern? And really, Carla, this essential is going to speak to your question. So I hope that this will help give you some clarity on not only your question, but also for your goals. See, when our goals are not clear, success is fleeting. So there, you can see the quote there, success is fleeting when it is not clearly defined. And really the problem with this is a goal that's not defined ends up more like a wish list or a bucket list. And we're all familiar with the bucket list, right? These lists that compile things that we want to achieve at some point in our life. But how often do we get specific with the things that are on this list? And so this bucket list is essentially a wish list. And that's okay to have that, as long as we understand that these are not goals, because our goals are clear. I mentioned earlier that I sold my first business earlier this year. Well, that process actually started a long time before that. See, my wife and I had an opportunity to pick up and move out of state and really live more of this life of adventure, and so we decided to do it. But when we decided to do that, she had to start work in a month, and so I realized, it just doesn't make sense for me to keep the business if I'm not going to be in the same state. So I decided to sell it, and I thought, okay, I'll sell it within a month, and if not, then I'll stay behind, get it sold, and then meet up with her. Well, so that was a great wish, but what I found was that 6 months later, we were still separated, and I still hadn't sold the business. See, I thought I did everything I needed to do as far as getting the books cleaned up, getting the notice out to other entrepreneurs that I knew and business owners that, hey, this business is for sale. But I was still in the same position 6 months later that I was when I first decided to do this. And so I really sat down and took a hard look at what I was doing and really what I was doing wrong. And so what I did was I clearly defined what this goal was. And the goal was to sell the business. And I gave myself a date that I would sell it by. So essentially I said, okay, I'm going to sell the business by this date. And if I don't, then here's what's going to happen. I'm going to sell off the assets. And I knew that I could do that. I had people who are interested. But I created the process, and I gave myself a deadline, and I clearly defined what success was for me with this goal. And the amazing thing that happened was I ended up selling it. I got specific, and I ended up achieving what I wanted to. And see, we often fail to reach our goals because we don't know what we're reaching for. We don't know what success looks like for us. It's like when we were kids playing on the monkey bars, and we would swing from one bar to the next. And in order to grab the next bar, we would always look at the bar that we were going to grab. And that's how it is for our goals. If we're not looking at our goal and really clearly understanding what success is for that goal, we're going to miss it. And so a good question to ask yourself is, how will I know when I'm done? And really, here's what I mean by this. Let's say that you have a goal of getting in shape. Well, that's a great goal, but how will you know when you're done? What does getting in shape mean to you? So a specific goal, a defined goal with defined success would say, I'm going to get down to 10% body fat. See, now you have something to shoot for, to aim for, to reach for. It is very specific. And so essential number 3 is defining our goals, to have clear and specific understanding of what success is. And really, without defining what success is, we don't have a clear target that we're aiming at. And the other thing is, without essential number 3 of clearly defining what our goal is, we're not going to be able to do essential number 4. And so that's going to transition us over to Tim, and Tim's going to pick it up with essential number 4.
Hey, thank you, Corey. So for those of you that may have joined us a little late, just again, a brief recap. Going through the 5 essentials to achieving our goals. That first essential was alignment. The second goal was declaring your goals. And this third essential is to it's important, and I just
Fine.
Yes, and so going on to the fourth essential, which is plan, and this is potentially one of the biggest obstacles we face is the planning phase. And I had mentioned earlier that there are top reasons that have been cited as far as why people don't or fail to achieve their goals, and I had mentioned like one of those top reasons being that they pick the wrong goals or they create the wrong goals. Well, the second reason, or the second main reason that people fail to achieve their goals is that they think that motivation or willpower is enough, that's what they need in order to achieve their goals. And the problem with this is that if you think you have enough willpower or self-discipline, then a lot of times you're not really going to think through your plan. Now, conversely, if you don't feel like you have the willpower or self-discipline, this is often what keeps people from to starting or creating goals in the first place. And really, this is the thing that we want to talk about here. How many of you have been excited about something? Maybe it's like a new exercise program or some new like money-making idea, and at the beginning, I mean, you were all about it. I mean, you're pumped, you're super motivated, and you start charging that hill like really strongly, but you haven't necessarily worked out a specific plan on how you're going to work through that program or that project, long term. And that's what we're talking about here. So at some point, that motivation or that that willpower will wax and wane. It'll die out a little bit. And so the important thing that I want you guys to take away from this is that a plan makes our goals really possible, but the right plan makes our goals doable. The right plan makes our goals doable. There's a lot that we can get into, as far as how to plan the right way. And in this webinar, there's only so much time we have. And so it's, we can't fully dig deep into that, though you're going to be hearing about a workshop a little bit later that really delves into this fully. But for now, I do want to share with you guys just some great tips on how to create the right plan for yourself. And creating the right plan, again, is really that X factor, if you will. So when your motivation, your willpower really starts to die out, you have this great plan that is going to help you stay on course. And so to create the right plan, I'd say there's 6 components of this that's going to help you create the right plan. That first component that Corey he kind of talked about this when he talked about define essential 3, but really clearly defining success, defining what progress and success looks like. This is really important for you to be able to keep moving forward towards achieving your ultimate goal. So you want to clearly define success in your plan. And then next, you want to make a timeline. This is another thing that's really important. We are bound by time. We operate within the context of time, and one of the main reasons why things fizzle out is because we don't put that timeline at the end of it to set for ourselves, the objective and when we want to achieve it. And then the third thing is to break that goal and that timeline in up to small pieces. I think this is really important too. Being able to break it up into bite-sized chunks is really important. So breaking up your goal and your timeline up into small chunks is how you can really create a detailed plan. Now the fourth thing is to list tools and resources. So this is something too that I see a lot where people just don't take the time to think through all the tools or resources they may need. Now these tools can be equipment, supplies, it could be certain types of technology, maybe it's programs or apps that you can leverage to help you. Another key resource is partners, and really inviting other people into your goal achievement. So partners could be people that are participating in the goal with you. This is often what people do for exercise. They have an exercise partner. But there's also other partners like coaches and mentors who can speak into your life, help give you clarity, objectivity, help give you perspective to help keep you on forward. So thinking through this list of tools and resources ahead of time and mapping that out as part of your plan is crucial. The fifth is, again, finding the right partners. So there are different types, and there's some people that can absolutely help us move forward, and there's folks that don't necessarily help us move forward. So really thinking through who are the right partners to achieve your specific goal. And then the sixth is to create some type of system of reward for your progress. So as you've broken that goal and that timeline down into bite-sized chunks, you want to have a way to sort of recognize, acknowledge, and kind of reward yourself for each step forward that you're taking. Every time that you've progressed forward and achieved one of those bite-sized chunks, there's got to be something that you're sort of reinforcing that behavior with. And so that's that sixth component of creating the right plan. So moving on now to our fifth essential is Stephen.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Tim. And I just want to address a few questions before I continue on. So I have a question coming in from Danielle, and she says that, let's see, oh, okay, she says that sometimes I tell my friends about what I want to do, but they don't really do anything about it. And so I'm still feeling alone in the process. And yeah, that's a very, very real issue. And then I also want to answer another question that's very similar too from Jeffrey. Says, in my experience, telling someone about my goals more often than not deterred me from achieving my goals. The pressure was too great and I crumbled. And those are two really great questions. And in response to essential number 2 that I had mentioned earlier about telling someone else about your goals, it is very important to actually choose the right people to tell about your goals. Because yeah, it's true, if you kind of tell anyone and everyone, then they may not be as responsive, or if you tell the wrong people, they may put too much pressure. When I want to start my organization and I emailed my friends, I selectively chose 15 people that I knew about my aspirations. They knew my skills. They were very specific because I knew that they would provide good advice and counsel for me, and that they would provide encouragement. And that's exactly what they did for me. And so it's really important in choosing the right people, and that's what Tim just went over in essential number 4, was choosing the right partners. It's important to get people who you know are going to both keep you accountable, but will also be encouraging to you, who aren't going to put a ton of pressure on you. But and it's also kind of important to be able to maybe talk it through with that person. If you're going to tell them, hey, I want to go towards this goal, let them know what you want from them. Like, hey, it'd be great if you could, email me or call me once a week or once a month to just check up on me to see how I'm doing. Hey, it'd be great if you could point me to certain networks or resources. And so just want to cover that. So for those of you who may be just hopping in right now, again, we're going through the 5 essentials to achieving your goals. And if you have a question about anything that we presented or anything challenges that you face, go ahead, if you're logged into Google, click on the cube icon at the top, click on the Q&A box, and go ahead and type your question. We'll see it, and then we're going to get to it as soon as we can. So the first essential that we talked about was alignment, aligning your goals with your purpose. The second essential was declare, to tell your goal to someone else. The third essential was to define, being specific about what success means. The fourth essential was to plan, to create a strategic plan that would help you achieve your goals. And now I'm going to talk about the last and final essential, number 5, and that one is execute. It sounds really simple, but it's so crucial. Execute on your goals. Start small, but just get started. This is my favorite one. It's the hardest one, I admit, and even though it sounds so incredibly easy. But research has shown that in terms of trying to achieve like a goal or a big task or anything, starting is the hardest challenge that everyone has, or almost everyone has. It's just getting initially started. And the reason we do that is because we think of the goal as this overwhelming project, this huge thing that we have to accomplish, but and it's so overwhelming that we tend to, just basically brush it off to the side and do other smaller tasks that simulate actual work. So you know what I mean. If you need to finish a big project for the day and you're just putting off doing it, you're gonna do other stuff like go on Facebook, you're gonna check your email, you're gonna check your email again, check your phone for messages, maybe do a few minor tasks here and there, anything at all to push off doing it later on. But the thing is, here's an example. I blog a lot, or I'm trying to blog and write a lot more. It's all actually mounting up to a book that I eventually want to write. But writing is something I just absolutely hate. I mean, I struggle so much with this. Maybe some of you can relate. I sit down and I try to type, and it's just blank, and nothing comes to my mind. And so what I'll do is, I'll think, oh, maybe I'll go to Facebook for some inspiration. Maybe I'll read a few blog posts. Let me check my email, and I never get started on writing. That's because the idea of writing, 1,000 words or 2,000 words or whatever it is I have set as my goal is so overwhelming that I don't want to start. And so what you want to do is to break it up into smaller pieces, something that is easily accomplishable. So what I did was I would take my big goal of blogging, and my first kind of minor mini goal was to just be able to make an outline. And that was a lot easier because an outline for me just meant 3 main points. So I just need to come up with 3 main points and start from there. And when I started doing that, I could actually get started on my goal. And once I started, it was easier for me to finish because there's this interesting research done, a phenomenon in our human brains known as the Zeigarnik effect. And it's this phenomenon where once we start something, we're much more compelled to finish it because our brains feel discomfort when something is left undone. And it's incredible because it's kind of a feeling that's similar to, like, being poked constantly and wanting or having an itch. Or maybe a lot of you have noticed, if you're on Facebook and you see that little red icon that says like the number of notifications you have, none of you will just let that go by. You just have to go and click on that button just to see what the notifications were, just so you can clear that red button. And it's that same effect. When we start something, we have this just need to just finish it because we feel discomfort. And so that's the biggest thing. Just start on your goals. Think of the first step, this first smallest step that you can do, and just get started, because once you start, you're far, far more likely to finish that goal. And so that's the 5th essential, get started. Now I'm going to pass it off to Corey.
All right, thank you, Stephen. And so what I'm going to...
Corey, you all right? You froze up there for a second. So let's see. As Corey's frozen for a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and hop back on and just kind of wrap everything up. Is Corey back on now? All right, he's back. Let me throw it back to him now.
Technology, man, it's a wonderful thing. So I'm going to try and do this again, share this slide. We're going to recap the 5 essentials. The first essential was alignment. Now, for those of us that are feeling stuck, or perhaps we're not sure what goals we need to create or want to create, really dig into alignment. Essential number 2 is declare. For many of us, we feel alone in this process, and Stephen addressed that, and some of the questions came in and really addressed that as well. And so if you're feeling alone in the goal process, or if you need accountability, take a look again at essential number 2, declare. Essential number 3 was define. Now, like me, if you're like me, then perhaps you've lacked clarity with your goals. And if we're not really sure why we fail to reach our goals, oftentimes that's because we haven't defined it. We haven't really clarified what the goal is and what success looks like. Essential number 4 was plan. And this really speaks to our lack of motivation or even willpower to see a goal through until the end. If we can create a plan, a step-by-step plan, that'll keep us motivated as we continue to move forward in that plan. Essential 5 was execute. Does the goal or the process seem too overwhelming or too big? Well, we're looking at it the wrong way. We just need to take the first step. See, once we have a plan in place, we don't need to look at the entire plan and digest it all at once. We just need to take that first step and really get moving in the right direction. Okay, here's the thing. By really implementing these five essentials into your goal process, you're going to set yourself up to really move forward and move forward with momentum, and really to actually to start to achieve the goals that you have in life, to get rid of the old vague goals that we've created and start creating purposeful, clear goals. Now, to implement them into your goal process and really begin to make great strides in that process. But if you're like me, and really most of us, then we need training. We need a step-by-step process to get us through it. And really, we need a partner. We need to be able to partner with others to create a goal system that actually works and that will drastically change how we journey through life. Look, all 3 of us, we've tried this. We've tried different goal processes and programs, and some of them were well known, and some of them were very good, but none of them were comprehensive or even sustaining. It's a lot like a glow stick. You crack it and the clock starts. At some point, it's going to fade away. And so these processes would be compelling, but they too would soon fade away. So we've been on an extensive search to create a course that actually works, one that addresses the grand overarching direction that we want to go, but at the same time it also addresses the intimate actions and the habits that we need to implement in our daily lives. So it goes from the big to the very intimate and the small details of everyday living. See, having dreams and aspirations is a powerful thing, and we need those, and we need to hold on to those and cultivate them. But having the right goals and the process to achieve those goals, it can be such a mystery. And yet there is so much potential if we could only grasp this process. And so that's what we've done. We've created a course that will remove the mystery and the frustration out of the goal process, and it sets us up to live a life that is aligned with the future that we desire. Now, Tim's going to jump in here, and he's going to give us more specifics on this course called Design Your Life, the Blueprint to Successful Goals. So, Tim, go ahead and give us more details on that.
Hey, thank you, Corey. So, yeah, as Corey mentioned, you know, there's this amazing workshop that we've put together. It is called Design Your Life, the Blueprint to Successful Goals, and it's a 7-day workshop that starts on August 24th, which is a Monday, and will go each day for the next 7 days. And what we'll be doing is we're going to be releasing one module per day. Now, each of these modules are going to contain 3 different videos. There's going to be worksheets that are going to be available to you to help you actually apply everything you're learning to your personal goals. And there's going to be other resources that are going to be given to you along the way as well. Now, in these 7 modules, we're going to be covering that full spectrum. As Corey said, it really is meant to be this comprehensive program. The thing that we just didn't see out there that existed before that we really wanted to give to you. We're going to start in Module 1 with Journey, and we're gonna start by looking at our past and using some of those lessons that we can learn to help us move towards our future. And then in Module 2, we're going to talk about Define again, but we're going to dig into that much more deeper and really help define our goals and really create clarity and really make them actionable. And then in Module 3, we're going to talk about the strategy and really how we map out each step of the process to help us stay on track towards achieving our goals. Module 4 is going to be about resources, which is going to be a great conversation. Module 5 is going to be execution, and this is one of the things that I think a lot of the other programs that you might find out there just don't seem to really be able to offer, is just what you really need to execute. And then in Module 6, we're going to talk about movement, and this is about taking the steps forward and really just the mental game that's involved in that. And then in Module 7, it's going to culminate into a great conversation about the blueprint for your goals. This is where you're going to walk away with this amazing tool that you're going to be able to use to achieve all the goals that you create, not just in that workshop, but goals that you'll create in the future. It's an amazing workshop, you guys. Like we're really excited about it. We have implemented all these things, and as we've learned more and more about how to do this better, and we are giving those to you. Now, for a full 7-day workshop, 21 videos, worksheets, and resources, anything like that, you're going to pay a lot of money for. But because we're so passionate about helping people and really giving them access to this information that's going to help them achieve success and significance, we really wanted to make it just very reachable for everyone at a reasonable price. And so what we've done is, I can't, for whatever reason, I'm not able to put up my slides now, but which is too bad, because I was going to show you guys a great. Oh, there it is. Okay, awesome. So you can see here, this is the Design Your Life, the Blueprint to Successful Goals. That's what the program looks like. And then if you look at the different breakdowns and prices here, so again, for what you're getting, this is amazing. So for the standard workshop, which gives you the 7-day modules with the videos and the worksheets and access to a private Facebook group. That's only $97. Which is kind of crazy, like, I'll be honest with you. Now, we're even offering a premium workshop as well. And for this premium workshop, you're going to get all those things that you get in the standard, but you're going to get one really awesome addition, and that is that you're going to have the opportunity to send us your strategy, your plan, and you're going to be able to then receive a video evaluation from your trainers about your plan, providing you, feedback, advice, tips, definitely, giving you, that encouragement, but a full evaluation that's going to be personalized to you via video. That's going to be something else that you're getting with that premium offering. And again, this is like getting 3 different coaches to go through the stuff you've created and be able to provide you a lot of great feedback. So really, really good stuff. Really amazing prices. You'll see that there's also an executive offering as well, and these are really for folks that are really serious about continuing their journey forward and want to seek out help by a coach to help them. That includes 3 hour-long coaching sessions by one of your trainers in that workshop. So a really great value.